Hey everyone, Tony here. Hope you're doing well. I have a special guest with me, Tom McLeod, the CEO and founder of Omni. Tom, thank you so much for joining us today.
Tony, thank you so much for having me.
Everyone, you may recognize Tom because I did an interview with him earlier this year talking about Omni and as well as the funding, which included Ripple XRP. I believe, Tom, it was around 25 million and half of that was XRP, correct?
That's correct. Parts of it were, yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
More than half. Actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. The majority of it was an XRP.
Very cool. So, Tom, for those who may not know what Omni is about and what service you provide, can you give us an overview?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, so we're trying to fundamentally change the way people think about ownership on the planet. So it's a pretty big task. At the start, here where we're at right now, we started with this idea of storage. So if you had too much stuff in your space, you could hit a button on your phone and we'd show up and take it away. And now we've turned on rentals. So all the stuff that you have that you don't necessarily want to use at any given time, you can actually make money on it. So if you have an extra tent that you have taking up space in your home, you can now put it into Omni, and on the weekends, people can rent it when you're not using it, and you can actually make some money off it on the side while also getting it out of your space.
That is such a great idea. And so, as an example, if I had a bike and then I'm not using it, I can send it to you guys store it, and then people can rent it out. You provide this service, bring the bike to them, and I make money off of that?
That is exactly what happens. We actually show up, we take the bike away, we do all the photography, inventory, and we deliver it to the person. So basically, you get this passive income source off of your things. And in the meantime, we actually are creating all the networks and pipes between individuals based around the things that they own.
Wow, very cool. And then you guys just announced that you've integrated XRP payout. So meaning my earnings, let's say from renting that bike out, I can cash out via XRP. Can you talk about that phase one of integration of XRP?
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, we're obviously long on crypto here at Omni. We did the deal for investment side, and we're long on thinking about the ways that items and assets flow between each other. And one of the things we think about is over time, we're kind of building a bank. And instead of just being a currency as the asset that you hold in a bank account, you actually can also hold assets that are physical. So right. Things like that bike you described, or a tent, or a sleeping bag, or an air mattress, or a sous vide machine, whatever it is, all these things actually have liquidity locked up in them. And right now, up until this point, the only way you could get liquidity out was by us sending out cash to you from a rental. Well, now you can use crypto on the back end and choose to get paid out in XRP immediately while still owning your asset and not actually having to put more cash into the ecosystem. So your asset itself, the bike that you were allowing to be rented, actually basically churns out crypto for you while it's not in your space. So it's starting to put your things to work for you to make money for you as well. And in this specific case, it's immediate and can move with crypto.
Wow, that's pretty cool. And obviously XRP and many other cryptos, the person can cash it out and sell it or hold it as a long-term investment.
Totally. You can go either way. It's basically allowing you to turn an illiquid asset, like a bike, into a liquid asset, and then using that as an investment. So you can think about investing your bike into Omni and then actually doubling down your investment by taking the earnings off of that and moving it into the crypto markets. So historically, if you wanted to play in crypto, you had to have some sort of fiat currency to start with. Maybe that was euros or yen or pounds or dollars, whatever, and you'd convert that from a credit card or an ACH deposit into it. Now you can do that with a bike. Now you can do that with a snowboard.
Wow.
Now you can do that with kind of anything you have. It's just it's taking something that's already a brave new world and just getting even crazier with it.
Very cool. I love the idea and the whole setup of that, and definitely a great incentive for folks who are interested in crypto as well. Now, that sounds like, your phase one, you guys mentioned that, I remember in the tweet and in the announcement, it said more to come. So I'm curious, what would be phase 2 and 3 of the XRP integration?
Sure. So this was obviously payout. We're going to work on paying in. So the stuff that you have, you actually can put, if you own crypto already, you could actually go in with XRP and rent on the platform. So now, not only could you take your earnings that you've made and cash out into a wallet of your choosing, you'll actually be able to go in the same way. So if you want to have a great day at the park, you could actually rent Tony's spike ball set, my picnic basket, and a few chairs from people, and you can do that entire process in XRP or in the future other cryptos if you're choosing, but in XRP right out of the gate. So it's pretty amazing practical real use of it and creating actual utility around the crypto space, which is where I think a lot of times it's severely lacking right now.
Wow. That is so awesome. I'm excited to use that. And I think just in our previous conversations, I'm thinking about the things I could send to you guys to make that passive income. And
yeah,
I'm big on XRP and other cryptos. It'd be great to cash it out via crypto.
Totally.
And you mentioned other cryptos are coming soon. So I'm assuming you might be doing Bitcoin, Ethereum, and so forth.
So the way we're looking at it is we're really long on ILP, which is sort of the enabling technology that Ripple created, sort of its open source product they built out that uses XRP on the back end. And the way we're looking at it is if we use that on the back end, we can use that to pretty much do any crypto in, because it basically creates and manages the float on the back end to make that work. So we're very bullish on integrating ILP in the background as our sort of our payment processing for all the crypto stuff we're doing. And I kind of envision like a little switch on Omni and it's like crypto mode activated, and suddenly you can start taking almost any different type of currency that you want. Maybe that's dollars, maybe that's yen, but maybe that's Ethereum, maybe it's Bitcoin, maybe it's ZRX. Like there's a lot of different things that you go that direction, and we're looking at sort of what does it look like when you stop saying, like, I like to get to a world where we stop saying like, well, now I'm using dollars or now I'm doing that. It's just whatever payment you choose, we're agnostic and we're going to take it all. Because we want to make sure that we can break down the borders between people and the things that they need, and this enables us to do it quicker and faster, and in a lot of cases actually less complicated because of speed and payout and a lot of the things that are built on pure digital currencies.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know Ripple announced that it was you guys plus many other companies, and some
Sure.
unannounced as yet. So I'm curious, have you told others about the Xpring initiative as a way to raise funding and, of course, integrate XRP? You know, what's the word on the street there in the Silicon Valley and in the tech areas?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say after our announcement, and I tell there's some great folks over at Ripple, Danny and Ethan, they're running a lot of the stuff around Xpring and its initiatives, that I'm kind of the first line now. I think a lot of founders, find my email, which is tom@theomni.com. It's not hard to find, and ask me, how did this work? What were the pros and cons? Why would I do this? Could I do this? Would you make these intros? And I find a lot of time. I try to make time to talk to as many people as possible who are also sort of trying to build things in whatever space they're in, technology companies, et cetera. And what I've found is, if you're building something that can utilize what they're working with, that needs sort of fast speed of transaction, that utilizes cross-border payments or potentially taking a lot of different payment sources, it's a perfect use case for why Xpring would invest and what they're looking for in terms of technology adoption. And I've definitely passed. I think I've passed at least 3 companies that I was like very bullish on to their systems in the last 6 or so months.
Wow.
But I'm pretty critical too. So yeah. I don't send them everyone I get, but if people have good ideas, I like to see them come to life.
Yeah, for sure. And I saw, I think, in an online conversation on Twitter with Scooter Braun, whose SB Projects is also one of the companies. So it seems, I think you know him, and he seems to be working on his integration as well.
Yeah, I mean, Scooter's a close personal friend. We talked a lot about the deal that he did with them after mine happened and prior to him going down that path. I know he's got a bunch of stuff in the works. I definitely am not going to spoil any of the things that he has, surprises and things like that, and companies that they're looking at working with. But yeah, I mean, people that are in are pretty much in, right? And there's going to be a lot of cool optionality for what this enables. It's a new world around how you fundraise for a company these days. And I think every company should be looking at literally whatever option they can have that's the best option for the ability to grow and expand and build their businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just such a great initiative by Ripple, and a smart idea to get usage of their digital token. So it's a win-win.
Yeah, I mean, if you talk to Chris, you talk to Brad, you talk to these guys, this isn't their first rodeo. They've been on this side. They've built companies before. They know what fundraising is like. They understand this. And so they understand both the stresses of being a person fundraising for their own businesses, as well as the benefits to being a person who invests and how that can help grow both sides of it. Because, if you grow an investment, you also grow a fund. And so when they look at this, they think about it in the same way. It's like they obviously want to see XRP and ILP grow in adoption, and the companies want to be able to do that through better uses and initiatives of their own businesses growing at the same time. So it works out pretty well. It's a win-win if it aligns right.
For sure. Awesome. So what can we expect from Omni in 2019? I know you guys have locations in San Francisco and I believe Portland.
Yeah, Portland.
So what can we expect? Can we expect new locations, new additions as far as services? Just curious, what's the plan in 2019?
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely going to get both of those. We're looking at a lot of expansion plans, multiple markets that we have on the map right now. Portland's doing really well. We're going to double down on there. We're using that to test a lot of the newer stuff. So you'll probably see some of the cool stuff crop up there first, because we have a nice, it's a very light team just testing and trying all different kinds of things there. And then we're going to use that knowledge to expand to a few more markets. We've been looking at, just looking all around for those. And then on the product side, we have just a lot of stuff coming. We're working on things like kits, like the ability to group things around experiences. So instead of just using a projector, there's actually a fully curated kit around like a movie night.
That's smart.
and how does it take pieces of everyone's thing? So dynamically recreating those. So it's using, when my projector goes out, it automatically adds in another person's projector that's similar and constantly works on there. So a lot of actually really complicated, challenging problems from sort of a data science side and an engineering side going into it. And we've been working on a lot of this stuff for a while. So going to be some really cool product things that I'm excited about, as well as a whole new web version. Web 4.0 is coming out in the next coming weeks. So that's going to be pretty awesome too.
Wow. I like the idea there where you're talking about curating and matching the products that, okay, if I get a projector, I most likely need that screen or whatever it is, right?
Yeah. Or a popcorn machine.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff for a movie night. Maybe we do an outdoor movie night and it gets a big blow up screen. We have all these things in Omni. I think discovery is one of the cool processes here that we have to work on. And that's going to be a lot of the big initiatives for 2019, making sure all of these things come together to make the best product possible.
Awesome. That's exciting. Looking forward to that. Now, one of the things you mentioned when we chatted before was that some folks were, and correct me if I'm wrong here, they were using some sort of arbitrage with Amazon with your service or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, what we've seen is you don't necessarily have to be on the supply side. So if you want to have stuff rented, and sort of as an investment, and I mean, quietly, we almost think of it like you're mining crypto a little bit, right? Instead of actually running, GPUs that are constantly solving equations, you basically could start almost mining XRP by putting a bike in and letting it generate revenue for you. And so you don't have to live in a market that we serve to do that. You can drop ship. I've seen it happen. I know people that have put in chairs and PlayStation 4s and all these different things and fancy speakers and DJ setups that don't live in either of the markets we serve. They just buy them on Alibaba or Amazon and they drop ship them directly into Omni, and they're using it as a double investment because they own the item, they're getting liquidity out from rentals, and they're also in some cases now moving that into crypto at the same time. So it's just this crazy cool new world where you can be a part of you can touch all different things from your house in the middle of Oklahoma where we're not yet. You could participate in both crypto and distribution and shared ownership in West Coast markets that we're live in now, and eventually, hopefully in their own town as we continue to scale.
Oh man, I think I told you last time. I'm already thinking about what to do here because that sounds very interesting, and to make that passive income and just buy the stuff, and then it'll make money for you, have it work and make some money for you passively.
Well, it'll be awesome. At some point, I think Overstock does. There's a few places that you can buy in with crypto. So there's a world in which you could buy something with crypto on Overstock, have it sent directly into Omni, have it start generating more crypto out from you while still owning the physical asset, and that's a wild world. Digital currencies into physical assets, create an offline change.
Wow. Okay, I got some homework to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me too.
Last and final question, and of course, this is not financial or investment advice. What is your personal opinion on when you think the next bull run will be? I know a lot of people are anticipating November, December, or Q1 of 2019. Just curious what you think.
Sure. I mean, you and I have talked before in some other places like that. I think the thing that will eventually create the real bull run is actual utility. I think you're looking at a lot of the sort of crappy projects that were just scams and other things, which we know are real now. We know people scammed people. There's a bunch of stuff there that was a negative side of the community. A lot of those have washed out, and you're starting to see a lot of the projects that really deserved to be here starting to create their real things. A lot of mainnets going online, a lot of actual projects. I know Digibyte has stuff coming online. Xerx has a bunch of stuff coming online. There's a couple interesting ICOs still coming out that are going to be live when they launch, as opposed to just hanging on. And that's the kind of stuff I think we see. So as we start to see a lot of these things move from ideas and maybe in some cases cash grabs into real utility, that's going to be when you start to see this run up, because the utility inherently, if they did it right, should create more value around the tokens themselves. So I'm monitoring those kinds of places and those kinds of currencies, and that's where I would, if I was giving investment advice, which I'm not, that's where I would look at those types of things. It's one of the reasons I do find XRP interesting, because at the very least, they're constantly pushing forward new ways to create value and utility around what they've built. And I think that is important. And almost any cryptocurrency coalition, whatever it is, should at least be trying to increase the value of their token through supporting people who are creating real use cases for their technology. And if I believe that this is the internet in 1978 or 1982, whatever, and the ability to invest, I could have invested in FTP or HTTP or SMTP and gotten a little tiny bit of money every time someone sent an email, I'd be pretty pumped. And I like to think that you're seeing a lot of those projects start to come online now, and that's going to be a game changer. So I'm in it for a long run, but acquisition of more is impressive to me. And I think one of the cool things about Omni is it's like now you can start to acquire more without having to spend in, and that's a pretty unique. If you're long on it, this is a pretty unique way to use owned assets to generate crypto without actually risking as much of your upfront capital that you need to keep pushing right now. And a lot of times when you see these big run-ups happen, it's people at the top are the only ones that ever get to capture it because they have the money to put in. Yeah. And this is interesting to me because it's people who might have everyday items. Maybe you can't put in as much as someone who can do huge buys, but you can actually start to generate some crypto with Omni now with things that a lot of people already own, and that's kind of cool. Democratizing access both to things and to crypto is kind of neat, and like that's right in our wheelhouse. So that was kind of ranty, but I'm excited. I don't know what to say. A lot of opportunity.
That's great insight, man. I love it, and I'm definitely on the same page with you with the utility and use case. You need an actual working product, and yes. I love what you guys are doing, and folks will be able to have the ability now to, like you said, earn passive income, but also earn crypto as well. So that's such a great setup, and everyone definitely have to check out Omni. Go to beomni.com. The link will be in the description. Definitely check out the site and the service. Maybe you can use it, your friend, your family. Definitely a way to make some extra money, but also crypto. So, Tom, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you, Tony.
We'll love to have you back on board as you integrate, more XRP and phase 2, 3, and however other cryptos as well. So definitely keep us in mind.
Yes. Thank you. You too. Talk soon, man.
Take care.